44-24 the final in this one. Utah State gets the victory. Oh, wow, what a game. What a game, what a game. This team never ceases to disappoint. You go back to that game against James Madison that they almost came back and won after being down 31-7 and tied it up at 38 apiece. After being down big to UConn and coming back and winning that game last week. And now being down 17-0 and coming out and winning in blowout fashion against Colorado State 44-24. We're going to break it all down for you right now. Today's post-game show brought to you by Farm Bureau agent Bruce Jones. Contact Bruce, 435-752-3233. It's your future. Let's protect it. Aggies protecting their future tonight with an impressive victory that, honestly, after the first quarter, Kevin, you and I looked at each other and said, well, I guess the game can begin now, and that's exactly what happened.
Back-to-back weeks now, winning games after getting down 17-0. Fourth largest comeback in school history. Ties that same thing that happened last week. And something about this team that they just can't quite get it going. It was 4 sacks given up in the first quarter, 2 interceptions thrown in the first quarter, a punt return given up. But you know what kept the Aggies in it early? The defense. The defense gave up after those interceptions. They got 3 and outs. And they were able to give the offense the football back. And gradually, the offense started to get some things moving. And I thought it was really big, down 17-3, when Utah State finally started getting the offense going. It was a big third down route down the sideline to Micah Davis that got the Aggies going. That drive was capped off by a Devon Booth 22-yard touchdown run. And then they got the ball back. And then it was Jalen Royals, who had 3 catches on a drive and culminated that with a 24-yard touchdown catch in the Aggie side of the end zone. And then it was 17-all, and you felt like, okay, now they got it. Then they came out in the second half with the football, 3rd and long, and it was an inside slot fade route, maybe a little bit of a double move from Terrell Vaughn that allowed Utah State to go a 76-yard pass play from Cooper Legas to Terrell Vaughn that gave Utah State their first lead, 24-17 to start that second half. And then they were off to the races at that point.
I don't care how unprofessional it is. We're just doing our job here, and the guys at KJazz just come and eat all our own food, man. Hey, Mark Cobell, that's for you, man. I'm being unprofessional. Hey, throw that headset on real quick. I want to talk to Frank for a second. My good friend Frank Dolce right now. Fox, I don't want to talk.
Make sure you bill him for this.
Hey,
yes.
By the way, you've called the James Madison game down 31-7.
Yeah.
Nearly came back and won that game. Down 17-0. And this thing just keeps getting weirder, doesn't it?
I said on our broadcast that this was a faster slow start for Utah State than was in the past, because they got out of the slow start faster than they have in previous games, and then they just completely dominated the line of scrimmage. Like Colorado State came in here with a really, especially on the defensive line, like a really solid defensive line, defensive front, and they were harassing Legas early in this football game, and then that's where the whole game changed. Is like Utah State completely took over the line of scrimmage, and Legas had time to throw, and they got the run game going, and then that was it, and so. I'm just curious to see what this Aggie football team can do if they play for 4 full quarters.
Yeah, I know, right? I just don't know if it's going to happen because that's not who they are. Hey, appreciate it, man.
It's my pleasure.
Enjoy all those cookies and those peanut butter cups that Alema just stole. You didn't need to open up your backpack and fill it up, man. That was excessive.
Here's what you did. Here's what I say about Alema Harrington, who's fantastic. You can't stop him.
You can only hope to
contain him. Hey, I'll be listening to you guys on the drive home.
Hey, appreciate it. Thanks,
Great job.
All right, joining us now, Cooper Legas. Started out the game 2 of 9, a couple interceptions, and then the switch just flipped. And Cooper, you got it going, man. Let's talk about that game because you know what? First quarter, that's the script now. You get down big early, and then you find a way to get it back. What happened there, going from the first to the second quarter?
I mean, both of those picks right at the start, their corners made really good plays. Watching film, I was expecting there to be a little more separation, but they really stepped up, and I didn't throw the ball like I needed to. Saw what I needed to change, and then was able to adjust and get the ball where it needed to be after that.
I thought one of the biggest plays, Coop, was down 17-3 there in the second quarter. You finally got some things going. The big fade ball down the sideline to Micah Davis that kind of got a drive going that was ended by Devon Booth's 22-yard touchdown. Talk a little bit about that transition and that moment.
Like I was saying before, even if a guy looks covered, they're really open if you throw a good ball, and I finally got one and got us rolling. And then, I mean, the run game was awesome all day thanks to the O-line, and the running backs always doing what they do.
What's the old adage? If they're even, they're leaving. And you put it right there on Micah Davis, and you get that catch. And then it just felt like the offense just continued to roll. And you gave up 4 sacks in the first quarter, and there was another one a little bit later on. But honestly, props to that offensive line. They were bullied there in the first quarter. What was it about their effort? Because all of a sudden the running game started clicking, and then you started to have time to throw.
Yeah. Colorado State's D-line, very twitchy, very fast, strong dudes. So they twist a lot, do a bunch of tricks. So it's hard to figure out at first, but I think the offensive line did a great job, and especially once we started running, it opened up everything.
You were 19 of 29 for career-high 387 yards, a career-high 4 touchdowns. I thought coming out of the locker room in the second half, a 3rd and long, and you've got the fade ball to Terrell for the touchdown. What did you see on that play?
I mean, I knew they were running by the guys all day. Missed a couple early, but if I just had the little bit of time that I needed at the start, finally got it and was able to get the ball up.
With Jalen Royals, I mean, obviously we know what Terrell Vaughn can do, and he had obviously a huge night tonight with 8 catches on 143 yards. But with Royals and his size, probably the message is just get it in the vicinity of him, because he can go down and pick up just about anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jalen's the fastest guy on our team, so a lot of times you expect him just to run by people, but I think the teams we play are aware of his speed, so they try to bail early, and that's why you got to throw some of those back shoulder type balls to just let him get up, because he can jump too.
So I got to ask you, Coop, obviously what happened at Air Force a couple of weeks ago, you take that step to support McKay. What have you done over the last couple of weeks to keep yourself ready, because you knew you were going to get another shot? What did you do?
I didn't change anything. I've done the same thing for 5 years now. I prepare the same every week, and if it's not me in, I'm going to support whoever's in. But, yeah, I'm always ready.
387 yards, 4 touchdowns, career high 4 touchdowns. Did you know that was your career high for touchdowns thrown in a game?
I do now.
One of those was that last one, the back shoulder fade ball to Micah. That was after a couple of big runs. I think was it Faison that was in on that series, and it looked like, okay, just keep motoring the ball down the field on the ground, but then you threw the back shoulder and a perfect throw and a great catch for Micah. You had 3 receivers over 100 yards tonight. Talk about those 3 guys, just the plays that they're making.
Micah, Terrell, Jalen?
Yes.
I mean, yeah, they're awesome. I love throwing it to them, and they're always open. If I can get a little bit of time, I just hope I can deliver them a good ball, because they'll always catch it.
Hey, obviously, rough moment with Stephen Cotsenley suffering the injury. You get the 15-yard penalty, and on the next play, you get the touchdown run. What was the message to the team? Because obviously you guys were angry, you were upset, there were a lot of emotions on that sideline. What was the message to say, hey, let's take the aggression out on the field and not keep your composure during that process?
Yeah, I mean, we're up by a decent amount. You don't want to screw the game up just because you're angry, and obviously it sucks losing a really vital player like Cotsenley, so that for sure puts a damper on the win, but I think overall we're all still happy, and Steven seemed to have a good attitude even though his leg was on backwards.
Oh, geez. Well, hey, we appreciate it. Thanks for your time, and congratulations, man. You earned this one, and go celebrate after this one, all right?
Yep, thank you.
There we go. Utah State gets it done, 44-24. MJ Tafisi is going to join us just a moment here as Utah State gets a big victory and wins by 20. And it just feels like we asked the same questions. Hey, what happened in the first quarter? How do you transition to the second quarter? And it's just rinse and repeat, but it's been really cool to see.
It is what it is. I think at this point, that's what this team is going to be, and Utah State just never wavers. They just keep going.
MJ Tafisi joining us now from that Aggie defense. And MJ, congratulations on the win. This was hard fought. It was emotional. What are the emotions in the locker room after the game like this?
I'm sorry, I was adjusting my mic. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, no, just after an emotional game like this, what was the message in that locker room? What was the emotions after a game like this?
Man, I think we proved that we can do this. The message is we can do this. And really, we were all just having fun.
You know, MJ, you guys, after a couple of turnovers, you guys are able to get 3 and outs. You held them to 320 yards of total offense. You held them to 46% completion percentage. You got 5 turnovers. I mean, this was a monumental effort from you guys on the defensive side. Did you think that this was your best game?
I did think it was my best game, yeah. And it wasn't just because of me. It was because of the heavy communication that we had throughout the whole defense. Guys were calling out plays left and right. So I have my teammates to thank for that one.
You know, even though you're down 17-0, I thought the defense from start, sometimes when you're down 17-0, you're like, okay, the defense was struggling. But, I mean, you hold a field goal on a short field, you give up the punt return for a touchdown, and then, you do give up the touchdown on the short field. But I thought you guys were playing great right out of the gate. Was it execution? Was it game plan? Was it a combination of both those things?
It was a combination of both things. And then, obviously, we just had to keep going in with a good mindset that we can – keep playing our game.
One of the biggest plays in this game was, I think it was on your hit of Torrey Horton that caused him to go out of the game. Obviously, just a clean play. But after that, they were not able to really execute anything consistently and go on consistent drives against you guys. You got to talk about what you were doing to try to bottle up both 14 and 5 out here, Holker and Horton.
Obviously those two were great players and key players that we were watching a lot of film on. Really, the biggest thing was knowing what the formation was and where they were a part of that formation. Because the quarterback obviously wanted to throw it to number 14, number 5, and which he kept doing. And when 14 went down, they kept throwing it to 5.
You forced 5 turnovers in this game tonight, and just opportunistic. And as the game went on, you got more pressure. You even got pressure when you blitzed or when you only brought 3. Did you feel like their will started to wilt there as the game went on, and you guys are really able to exert your, the pressure in this game?
Yes, for sure.
MJ, do you think that this is a game that can be a confidence builder for the rest of the season for you guys on defense? It's a defense that has given up some yardage and some points, but tonight you guys were lights out tonight.
I think I honestly think it was last week's win. I think that's what we needed, that first win against UConn, to really start building things.
There was a moment, we were talking to Joe Coughlin a couple days ago, your defensive coordinator, and he goes, you know what, our guys are going to play better. We're going to play better. We feel better about where we're at. We've had a really good week of practice so far. What was it about this week that really felt like you guys had some confidence going into this game today?
Honestly, I think the confidence was always there. We just have to keep playing our game.
Well, MJ, man, we appreciate it. Congratulations on the win. Good stuff. Hey, before I let you go, one thing I did want to ask you. You guys got a really emotional Stephen Cottonley, just a horrific injury, and our hearts are with him and thoughts are with him as well. But you could tell that there were a lot of emotions on that sideline. You guys were really upset about what happened. How hard is it to keep your cool in a situation like that and not get caught up in the extracurricular stuff?
It's extremely hard, seeing your brother go down. I actually know what it's like to be in his shoes. I've also been carted off the field. It's not a great feeling. But, yeah, it's extremely hard to stay cool when that happens to one of your brothers, for sure.
MJ, appreciate it, man. Thanks for your time.
All right, thank you.
There you go. MJ Tafisi had himself a heck of a game tonight. Utah State gets it done 44-24. We'll take a break and hear from Blake Anderson coming up here in just a moment. You're listening to the Aggie postgame show, brought to you in part by America First Credit Union. If you're a fan of better service, lower fees, and getting a lot more for your money, make a fast break to AmericaFirst.com and join the winning team today. You're listening to Aggie Football from Learfield.
Clean it up and get it out this fall.
Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan want to pay you today. Search DD Auto and Salvage today or call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
See store for details.
Agis Home Health and Hospice is your premier healthcare provider. When your loved one needs care, at home, wherever home is, allow Agis Home Health and Hospice to help. I'm Josh Fenton, part of the Agis team, where we customize healthcare for optimal results. Our award-winning staff brings character, experience, and trust. Contact us today and see why we were voted Best of Northern Utah. Call 435-723-9000 or visit our website at myagis.com.
Security. It's the most precious thing you can give your home, especially if it's guaranteed. No cheap locks, no weak keys, no inadequate hardware, just the expertise and precision and security. Beezer Lock and Key believes there's no place like a safe home and no home safer than one secured by them. It may seem they only sell locks and keys, but what they really sell is peace of mind. Search Beezer Lock and Key or go to 4th North and 1st West and just add confidence.
Les Olson IT structured cabling is second to none. Tired of old and inefficient cabling? Have an upgrade or remodel planned? Building a new network from the ground up? We offer the very best in low voltage cabling installation, including data, phone, fiber optic, and more. Ask us how to get your free consultation today.
Les Olson IT.
This Utah State Aggie broadcast is brought to you by Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat in North Logan and Providence on News Talk KVNU, where our true colors have always been Aggie blue and white.
Post-game show tonight, Utah State drops a tough one. Whoa, what was that? Utah State gets the big win, 44-24. Talking like it was the end of the first quarter here. Yeesh. Hey, by the way, Siegfried and Jensen serving the Utah community for over 30 years and has won over $1.2 billion for their clients. We want to thank Siegfried and Jensen for their tremendous support of Utah State Aggies and the people of Utah. Well, it's not $1.2 billion, but it is 639 yards of total offense. It was a big number tonight for Utah State.
And remember, they only had 46 in the first quarter. They did get the 3 points there at the end of the first quarter. Their first points in the first quarter since the Idaho State game. Now, what is it, 84-10 in the first quarter? Doesn't matter anymore.
No, I know, right?
It just doesn't matter.
And I think you put it really well. It's like it's not even a conversation to have anymore.
No.
It's just where we're at.
It's not one of the keys anymore. You just notice that this team just keeps playing, but you heard a little bit of the boo birds out here in the first quarter. Just seems to be something that they just can't quite overcome, but they have the confidence to know that they can come back from that. And once they got going, and it was really that Cooper Legato, Micah Davis played down the Colorado State sideline that was culminated by Devon Booth. Now they started to get some confidence that they could run the football, which they did for 252 yards. I thought they needed 150 tonight against a team that only gives up 118, but they went for 252. And Devon Booth, I thought, was outstanding tonight. 14 carries for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns, and I loved that he was right after the injury to Stephen Kotzenle. One play later, he was 48 yards into the end zone to culminate that drive, which was a 91-yard drive to get it back to a 3-score game.
Well, 44-24 the final. We kind of said Utah State's going to need to score anywhere from like 38 to 42. Well, they did that, but they didn't need that much. I mean, it's nice to get it, but and it's all back to that Utah State defense. They just played remarkable football tonight.
Great football tonight. The punt return from Torrey Horton made it 10-0. And then they had the interception and a short field that then Colorado State was able to go up 17-0. But they did not let Colorado State until the fourth quarter go on a sustained drive for a score. They had a couple of opportunities. Dallin Holker had an opportunity in the third quarter, and he was tackled inside the 10-yard line, and Utah State was able to rip it out, and Seni Tuiaki was able to jump on it for a turnover, 1 of 5 that Utah State created here tonight. They gave up only 320 yards of total offense in this game. They were just outstanding tonight all throughout this game, and they kept the Aggies in it in that first quarter.
Colorado State came into this game 46% on third down, Tonight, 6 of 19. That's 31.5%. And that's not, sometimes that number gets a little inflated late in the game because you're going for it a lot and you're up against the chains a little bit. But I actually think that third down number got better as the night went on. They were in the teens, low 20s for a good chunk of this game because Utah State was forcing 3 and out after 3 and out after 3 and out.
You talked about it during the course of the game. You thought that last week Utah State got exposed laterally. Tonight, they covered the entire field so well. And you talked about the communication. You could see the communication. They knew sort of by formation what Colorado State wanted to do in this game. Not a lot of crossing route, underneath routes, maybe 3 or 4, but nothing big, and especially nothing after the catch. Big long runs from Horton or other receivers. And Utah State was just sound in tackling. Ike Larson comes up with 2 interceptions. Simeon Harris gets an interception. Paul Fitzgerald creates a fumble that Blaine Spires jumps on. I think it was Devin Dye that created the other fumble that Seni Tuiaki jumped on. Opportunistic, and this defense was just outstanding here tonight.
Well, while we have a moment, let's pause 10 seconds for local stations to identify themselves. You're listening to Utah State football from Learfield.
Your station for the Aggies. News Talk KVNU Logan, 102 FM, 610 AM. And on Alexa, Google, online, or the app. The home for the Aggies.
Valley Office Systems has been a proud partner of Utah State Athletics for 10 years. See valleyofficesystems.com for all your copy, print, scan, and furniture needs. All right, joining us now, he is the head coach of the Utah State Aggies, Blake Anderson. Coach, we always make jokes about roller coasters, and this was a big one. Again, down 17-0, 17-3 after the first, and then you're tied at 17 and really blow things open in the third quarter. You have a good head of hair, but you might be losing them quick after these last several weeks.
Yeah, we're not making anything easy. So it good thing it's red hair because you'd see all the gray, and you're right. I'd start losing it pretty quick. Proud of the guys though. They didn't panic. We for whatever reason, and unfortunately, we've become comfortable being behind since we've been here. And I know everybody thinks we're crazy, but it's not by design by any means. We've taken every measure that you possibly can to be better early in the game. I mean, all the way down to scripting plays that I normally don't do. And I think you just got to give Colorado State credit. They played really, really, really well up front early, and that we knew that was going to be a challenge. And they had a good scripted drive. We did bail them out with the penalty that or the muffed kick. I guess muffed. It just hit us, but just kind of dug a hole there. The kick return. So I mean, there's some mistakes that we can't make in the special teams phase, but the defense played really well early, and then eventually we started calming down and playing like we're capable of on offense. With the exception of the turnover. So good football team. Really proud of the guys to be able to find a way to get it done.
You're right. That defense was outstanding all throughout this ballgame, I thought. But I thought one other thing that happened after that first quarter or somewhere during that first quarter, you inserted Ralph Frias on that left tackle against Kamara, who had 2 sacks in that first quarter. And I thought that really gave that offensive line a little bit of confidence.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I wasn't aware that it even happened. Coop is doing whatever he needs up there on the front. Coop Bassett, our O-line coach, doing a phenomenal job. And, he's got full autonomy to do what he needs to on the front, whatever he thinks is going to give us the best matchups. And Ralph has been dinged up and has not been 100%. Tavo, Poulet, a bunch of those guys have been out. They tried to play through it most of the night tonight. And considering how good that defensive pass rush is, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't sure we were going to be able to throw a forward pass about midway through the first quarter. I'm like, we're going to have to hand the ball off every snap. And if we try to drop back and throw the ball, we're going to get hit. Little by little, it changed. And you may be right that change at left tackle could have been just as big a piece of that as anything.
The wide receiver screen, too, because especially 3rd and long, you knew they were going to bring heat. They were trying to heat you up all night on 3rd and 5+. And those wide receiver screens, boy, you hit them time and time again, and that seemed like it'd be a huge part of the offense, especially with some 3rd down conversions.
Yeah, they tried to heat us up more than we anticipated. That's not something we've seen a ton of from them. They played some man coverage, but once they went with the first 0 pressure and they got me on that, I didn't get out of the play as quickly as I'd like to. We started seeing it coming. I thought Coach Cephalo and Hato had a good eye on some coverage points, and I was able to get to some good checks throughout the game. And our O-line does a phenomenal job of getting out in space, and I just think those three guys playing wideout for us have a knack for running, those tunnel screens through traffic, and it was a big part of what we needed to do tonight, because holding up and pushing the ball downfield is not going to be a great answer when they're bringing that kind of pressure.
But as the game wore along in the second half, you get the ball to start the second half, and back-to-back drives, you're backed up 3rd and long, and you get the big play to Terrell Vaughn on the first drive, and 3rd and long, and you get the big play to Jalen Royals for back-to-back drive touchdowns. Is that something you saw on film, or what got to that point?
Well, we felt like that they were struggling to get lined up quickly, and early in the first half, I probably spent too much time trying to get to specific sets and formations on 3rd down, and so we talked at halftime at just how much they were looking to the sideline, how they were trying to dial up the perfect defense, and so I just said, hey, second half, man, I'm playing as fast as I can play, and what we're able to do is catch them really not all on the same page, and even though it was 3rd and long in some of those situations, we felt really good about our ability to push the ball downfield, especially if they were struggling to get the calls in, and that was pretty much all night, especially in the second half.
You've been coaching quarterbacks for a long time, and can confidence just switch as simple as one play? That go route to I believe it was Micah Davis on the far sideline. Can it be as simple as just completing a big pass like that can flip a kid's mentality and get him in the right space?
Well, apparently for Cooper it can. I mean, up to that point, I had been knee-deep in his tail the entire first half. The interception that he threw down the seam, he floated. The ball should have been outside to the stop route. He pushed it in the wrong spot, similar to what he did against Iowa earlier in the year. The vertical that he threw, the interception to Colby, he left the ball inside, which he knows he can't do. Now, as the game progressed, the ball to Micah for the touchdown. The ball late to Micah for the touchdown. Great ball placement, exactly what he knows he needs to do. Whatever happened, somewhere in the middle of the game, he calmed down, he took a deep breath, and he just started kind of getting back to the things that he knows. I mean, he's a super smart guy. Just struggled to calm down early and made some poor decisions. Luckily, we're able to survive them. He got his butt ripped tonight. Now, I can promise you that. He got coached hard tonight. He saw every bit of my red hair come out. And, and he took it. He took it, and he just kept moving forward. And, yes, sir, and moved on and got better and better as the game went on.
He ends up 19 of 29 for a career-high 387, a career-high 4 touchdowns. And you got to love a kid that stays prepared and resilient like that and is willing to take hard coaching.
He don't have a choice, because I'm going to find him at some point on the sideline. No, you do. I mean, I think that's really proud of how he's handled things since we made the move to McKay. He prepared really well and played, a solid game last week when he came in. He prepared great this week. It was not pretty early at all. But you got to give Colorado State some credit. I mean, they're good at what they do. That's a good football team. They're going to win a lot of games. So staying the course and calming down and taking a deep breath and taking hard coaching and going out and making better decisions and not – I mean, he could have played super cautious and not been willing to put those balls back in the air, but he did. And we don't win the game without it.
So, update, I think we all know the direction it's going, but Stephen Cotsenly looked like a horrific injury. You were down on the field. What kind of update can you give us on that young man?
Just based off what little I saw him, and he's got a broken ankle, more than likely. It looked pretty bad, and they put an air cast on it and carted him off. I would be shocked if it was anything less than that. Their coaches apologize, and obviously it's not what they're trying to do, but it was a careless play, and you hate to see it. He's a great kid, a phenomenal teammate, one of my favorite kids to be around. He just makes your day better. I hate that for him. Ryan will come in and do a good job, but you hate to see a guy go down in that kind of situation. Honestly, I mean, they at that point, that penalty pretty much put the game out of reach.
Yeah.
It was pretty fun to see us pop a big run the very next play.
Well, and that was my other point, because you pull everybody aside, not only before that play, but also you take a timeout to pull everybody aside on the near sideline and tell everybody to keep their emotions under check, because that's got to be a hard line. Because we talked to MJ. MJ was out for blood. You could tell the anger from that guy. That team was out for blood. And to be able to say, hey, we need to calm down. I know you got the Poulet call that I know you're that young man's probably going to get an earful here pretty soon too. But
already did.
Yeah. But to react to that by not doing something stupid on the next play and scoring a touchdown had to make you feel pretty good.
Yeah, I just grabbed him and told him, guys, there's nothing you can do about it now. I mean, it is what it is. You prayed for him. We love the kid. I mean, he's going to be okay. You've got to calm down, take a deep breath, and play with discipline and poise right here at the end. Somebody's going to do something where either going to have another injury, or we're going to have somebody get kicked out of the game that we'll need next week. You've got to show some class. And I hate that Poulet got the penalty, but otherwise, you know, they took a deep breath and handled themselves with class, and I'm glad they listened. I mean, it's tough. We're all upset. Nobody wants to see that, and you want to go to defend your brother, but they did a good job there at the end and finishing it the right way.
One of my keys to the game tonight, Coach, was to try to go for 150 on the ground. Well, you end up 55 for 252. As a play caller, when it's not going great for you early on, I thought that in the second quarter, and even there at the end of the first quarter, the best way to sometimes calm things down is to get that running game going. Is that how you see it too?
Well, we didn't have a choice. I mean, every time we tried to throw the pass, we were getting sacked. So, I mean, or we getting hit, or we turn it over. So the run game had to calm things down. And we did feel like going into the game that they were much better against the pass than they were the run, that a lot of the stuff they were doing would almost even take them out of some gaps. And we had to be patient and continue to run the ball even at times when it wasn't showing tremendous results. That was part of the conversation all week. And if we would continue to, kind of just go at them, that we could fatigue them a little bit. We could get the first downs and make them play. You saw them making mass substitutions. And so it just had to be part of the process and take some pressure off Coop as well. I mean, where he's not dropping back, trying to fight through a really, really ugly pocket all night long. Everything worked together. We started running the ball better, and then the throws started opening up. It all goes hand in hand. And so we're very balanced tonight, although it was very difficult early, which I'll be truthful, and I told you guys, I expected it to be very difficult early with their front and how good they were up front.
When you play an air raid, there's going to be a lot of attempted yards after catches. I thought you guys tackled really well in space. You guys hit hard really well in space. I mean, the Horton hit, is when you're dancing around in the middle of the field in traffic and MJ's lurking. I mean, it's not going to end well for you. And so I just thought the tackling in the open field was really great in this game tonight, and it felt like it was a point of emphasis, especially perhaps after that UConn game.
Well, when you watch a bunch of tape on these guys, it's a lot of quick throws and, like you said, a lot of guys running with the ball. So it's hard to get to the quarterback if they're getting the ball out that quickly. So the only way to deter what they're doing is to, be physical in the back end and challenge the guys. Man, every time they catch it, you got to hit them hard. We got to make the ball come out. We got to make them cough it up. Or we got to make them start, shortening those arms a little bit and thinking about how hard they're going to get hit. We made it an emphasis this week of being the most physical team on the field. It wasn't this big mass unit that we saw, we've seen here several weeks in a row of a big O-line just coming downhill. This was more about being physical. You're really all across the field out in space. And I thought our kids took the challenge and did a great job of that. And, Torrey Horton doesn't finish the game. That gives you an idea just how well we're running to the ball and hitting people.
Talked a little bit during the course of the week that, last year the Air Force game seemed to sort of turn that season around. We thought last week might have done a little bit of that, but is this one of those kind of games also that can perhaps spur you guys onto a little bit of a run?
I'd like to think so. I don't want them to be satisfied by any means. It's a short week with a really good football team coming in that does a lot of similar things that Colorado State did, but you can't think about this one for very long. Enjoy it. Fix the things that still need to be fixed. There's better football to be played for us. We're still learning every day. A bunch of young guys that are learning in the fire. And I don't know, just encourage them. It's what I told them downstairs, man, don't be satisfied. Keep working, because that's the one thing we've gotten from them. They have come consistently every day with great attitudes to work. This was our best week of practice since the season started. And it would be easy to get frustrated when things are not going perfect because they haven't. But, man, they put together a great week and took the challenge and went out and played in all three phases. Not perfect, not mistake-free, but all three phases made impactful plays to win the game.
2 men in motion on that fourth down conversion by Colorado State.
You think? Yeah. Now, I will give their officiating crew credit. He flat told me he missed it. He said, Coach, I froze. I missed it. It's my fault. And so you got to give him credit that he was willing to do that. Most of the time they just argue with you and tell you that they just scream back at you. But I made sure he knew that was a huge play. And luckily we were able to get the ball back. But that could have been a huge, huge play in the game if they go down and get a touchdown. And we all make mistakes. It doesn't mean I'm not going to remind him of it.
And we could see that you did just that, but you're right.
Yes, I did.
Then the defense gets the fumble from Holker, and then you go on a long drive after that. And
yeah.
I thought you did a really good job of getting out of your own end zone 2 or 3 times tonight, getting first downs, and even getting on scoring drives.
Yeah, you guys, we felt really – once we got the first down, we felt like we had a chance to roll. That's the hardest part against that group, that defensive group. When they come off the sideline, their D-line is fresh and geeked up. Getting the first down was huge. And then once we did, you can see our tempo and just our conditioning take over. It's how we're built. I've got to give our offensive staff credit. Coach Coop getting me to good plays, Coach Cephalo and Hato upstairs getting me to good spots where, I knew what we were seeing. Everybody's communicating really well. And, man, our O-line just eventually, them and the run of it just grinded it up. Like you said, 200-something yards rushing, that is huge, and that gives you a chance for the whole field to be open.
Well, Coach, there's not a lot of games where you give up 6 sacks and win by 20, but you guys did it, got it done, and I thought everybody rallied. It was a heck of a game to call, a heck of a game to watch. I know that may have taken a year or two off your life, but congratulations, big W tonight. Let's do it again next week against Fresno State, okay?
Awesome. Hey, the best thing about it is I didn't have to call that crazy punt fake. You know what I mean?
Oh, don't give it up. That's our little secret.
I tell you, we carry 5 in every week, but that's what I told Jay before the game. He said, how many punt fakes you got? I said, we got 5 punt fakes and a field goal fake and 2 onside kicks, so good luck to you. And, luckily, I didn't have to call one tonight because I promise you I didn't sleep last night wondering if it comes down to a fake punt, do I really want to call that crap?
I will say this. I will just say Coach described to us a fake punt that he was going to run, and I told him Kevin and I would each give him $100 if you ran it in the game because it is the greatest fake punt call I've ever heard, and I want so badly for you to run that thing.
One day, you never know, man. We'll keep it in our hip pocket. We always keep a few, and just tonight, thank God I didn't have to call any of them.
Oh. As a great win, Coach. This hopefully can get this team really confident rolling into the rest of the season. Fresno took it on the chin tonight at Wyoming.
I saw that.
They'll come in a little bit ornery and angry, but I think you guys are playing with a little bit of a chip on your own shoulder right now.
I hope so, man. I hope these guys can build off of it, and we can just keep getting better. Fans were great. Man, that was an amazing crowd. Love it. The herd was rocking as usual. We need them back Friday night. Even bigger, louder, more angry, all the above, please.
Highest attended crowd in your era, not named BYU or Boise State.
Awesome, man. Appreciate it.
So
thanks, folks, for coming out. We need you.
Let's add to that next week. But, Coach, appreciate it. Congrats.
Thanks, guys.
There he is, Blake Anderson. I'm not going to describe the fake punt because I couldn't give it justice, but holy smokes, it's one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
I'd love to see it. Now, you may not have the same punter out there the rest of the season, so we'll see how that plays out.
That's right.
We'll have to see how that plays out, but it would have been a lot of fun to see. But you know what? They didn't need it tonight because they got control of this game in the second quarter and then coming out of the locker room in the third quarter, getting up to 2 scores. And they went on, what was it, at one point, 44-7?
That was I think it was a 37-0 run.
37-0 run.
They had the touchdown, and it ends up being a 44-7 run.
Unbelievable.
All right, well, that will wrap up our on the other side, we'll continue on with our post-game show on The Zone and other network stations. For those listening on KVNU, we'll hand the reins on over to Al Lewis and Aggie Call. I'm sure you got some things to say about this one. Utah State gets it done, 44-24. By the way, that conversation with Coach brought to you by Sports Academy and Racket Club. Your club, your results, your life. If you're on KVNU, you're going to hear the man, Al Lewis, coming up next. For those on the other network stations, Kevin and I will hand out some awards, and we'll wrap this thing up next. You're listening to Aggie Football from Learfield.
The game is over, and now KVNU Aggie Game Day continues with Aggie Call, the complete recap on all the action of your Utah State Aggies. We want your comments and questions about today's game. The phone line is 435-753-KVNU. The text line is 435-339-0321. Plus, more interviews and insights are coming as we break down the Aggie action with you and the Aggie Nation. Aggie Game Day is brought to you by Jarek's Fine Jewelry, Les Olson IT, Adams Wealth Advisors, DD Auto and Salvage, LSS Insurance Agency, Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat, Cafe Sabor, Beezer Lock and Key, Advanced Heating and Air, The Sportsman. It's KVNU Aggie Call with Al Lewis and Eric Franson.
And Ryan Boehm is with us again tonight as the Aggies again do win this game against Colorado State, running away eventually. 37 unanswered points after they're down 17-0 in the first 5 minutes and 26 seconds of the game. I once counted it up here. It was 45 minutes and 39 seconds of playing time that Colorado State did not score in this game, and the Aggies ran away at that point and won it. And somehow, after, again, another very scoreboard slow start, 17-0. I felt like the defense was there early in the game. Aggie offense didn't have any time, as the coach said. They couldn't run the ball. They couldn't pass the ball because of the pressure. And all of a sudden, the pressure stopped. And that one pass down the sidelines they're talking about there, the pass to Davis, where he went down the sidelines and ended up with 37 yards. That was after we had the field goal that led our way to a 17-10 ball game in the second quarter. That was really just seemed to take it away. The rest of the ball game for Cooper Lega, he went 17 of 20 after his 2-for-9 start, and Utah State was on their way, despite sacks and turnovers and things like that, to win this one tonight, and needed win to stay in the conference race at 44-24. Eric Franson across the way. I'll give you first opportunity to give us your thoughts.
Well, gosh, I mean, it's just who they are now. I think we need to stop talking about the slow starts. I mean, that is just who this team is. But even with the slow start, it felt like the defense was still playing pretty well. There were several early mistakes. And one of the things that we talked about coming into this game was it felt like whomever would make the fewest mistakes would win. But when I look at it, I mean, Utah State probably made more mistakes to some degree. They had more they had more takeaways, but they had their fair share of balls that they gave away. They had more penalties for bigger yards. They had the bad punt return, but you know what? They hung in there. I appreciate what Coach said, that this is a team that just doesn't back down, just continues to go to work and make things work for them, and it was a really exciting game for homecoming.
Former Aggie Ryan Boehm with us tonight. Again, it is just what it is. Utah State's going to get behind. 14 of the 20 wins in Blake Anderson era have been comeback wins, and most of them in those comebacks have been double-digit comebacks.
You know, I wanted to throw my phone. I wasn't at the game. I was watching it on my phone.
You had your son's game. You were watching the game on the phone. Yeah.
I wanted to throw my phone in the garbage and just turn it off and call you guys and say, hey, I'm not coming to the radio tonight because I can't do this. It's uncanny how this team is the worst team in football for the first quarter. And then all of a sudden they look amazing. And it is like I honestly cannot even comprehend how they can be so bad. I mean, the last 3 games in the first quarter were some of the worst teams I've ever seen in the history of Utah State. And then they all of a sudden turn around and look like the best team in the conference. And it's just, I don't know. It's unbelievable. I mean, Cooper Lega, I was cussing him up and down, like never play again. And then all of a sudden, again, he looks like, Jordan Love reincarnated, and it's just something else.
Hardly missed a throw.
It's amazing.
Made him underneath, deep.
I mean, now, would you agree with me, though, Ryan, that we started the game and got him off the field with a punt. The punt hits the back of Xavier Steele, and so they get it back. And then we eventually only let them get a field goal out of it. Our defense did start this game better against a team that supposedly was a heck of a passing attack, and I question now if they're that good or if our defense really just shut them down tonight. But again, we did it.
Yeah, I agree. I was really impressed with the defense. Quick, get them off the field, and the punt, unfortunate. We were coming up and stopping the run, which we haven't done well. Our coverage was looking good. But then you can't give up a special teams touchdown. You can't keep throwing them the ball and turn it over, giving them a short field. Like, it was, even though the defense was playing solid offensively, you just can't give the other team the ball in those positions. So, yeah, it was overall, I think our defense played really, really well all night.
To think that we only got like 40 yards in the first quarter, we end up with the 10th biggest offensive game ever in Utah State history tonight. It's the most rushing, or the biggest offensive game since Stony Brook. So you got to go back to Jordan Love's 2018 year, where we had games really like this against somebody who's supposedly a football team that we're supposed to play with and compete against. And then running the ball, this is the most running we've had in a game since against Colorado State last year. And I mean, so we finally got that going eventually after all of this. I mean, it's just an amazing deal. Ike Larson, tremendous plays early to keep this game from going another direction. Interception in the end zone, another play. I mean, this local kid's great. But like you're saying, the special teams, let it hit our guy. We give up a punt return. So really the special teams, and then obviously it's horrible to lose Stephen Constantly, like it looks like we've lost him in the punter play, on a play where they're trying to block it and the guy gets in there late and it's a horrible deal at the end. So there's lots to talk about tonight. And we need to get into this, and we'll give you your opportunity. We got our text line available, which is 435 and 339-0321. Our phone number, you can call and talk about it with Ryan and with Eric and myself, and that is 753-KVNU. As the Aggies win homecoming, they've won 5 straight against Colorado State. That matches, I think, the longest streak Utah State's ever had against Colorado State. And now the margin between the Aggies and Colorado State is 1 game. They've won 1 more than us down through all the years. This is our 3rd biggest rival, and the Aggies are on top tonight. Defense wins championships. Defense played pretty well tonight all throughout. One of the better defensive games of the year. I mean, I think they gave up less yards to Iowa, but really played a really good defense tonight. And Les Olson IT is one of our sponsors. And remember, it's Cafe Sabor. They're celebrating kind of a special month right now with their anniversary going on. They've always got great deals down there, great food in the old train depot, again, Cafe Sabor, and also other places. Make sure you check the webpage for that. So 753-KVNU or the text line 339-0321. It's your show. It's our Aggie Call postgame after the Aggies win 44-24 over Colorado State.
Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance. There are so many choices when it comes to Medicare. Annual enrollment is October 1st through December 7th. Call LSS Insurance 752-9493. We are here to help. We will research plan benefits and costs and look up your medications so there are no surprises at the pharmacy. There is no cost to work with us, and you will love having a local agent. Call 752-9493. Want to get the most out of your Medicare benefits? Come see us at LSS Insurance.
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Don't wait until winter to get it fixed. Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by the best of Northern Utah winter, Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Elements has delicious lunch specials. Soup, salad, and bread for just $10 is tasty and quick. Elements' lunch menu is full of scrumptious items. Wood-fired pizzas are an excellent choice that include barbecued chicken and the bee's knees. The fresh battered halibut fish and chips with seasoned fries is always a hit. And don't forget the fan favorite, Chipotle fried chicken sandwich. Thursdays, enjoy Elements house-made smoked brisket, casual or professional. Open Monday through Thursday, 11:30 to 8 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11:30 to 9. Visit theelementsrestaurant.com for reservations.
Nearly 21 years ago, Cafe Sabor opened their doors in historic Logan train station. With the help of hundreds of amazing employees and patronage of thousands of wonderful customers, Cafe Sabor is proud to have been voted 3 years in a row Cache Valley's favorite Mexican restaurant in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Follow Cafe Sabor on social media for giveaways and promotions. Search Cafe Sabor for a restaurant near you. Thank you, Cache Valley, from your friends at Cafe Sabor.
Aggie sports coverage is sponsored in part by Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special. Make it Jarek's on News Talk KVNU, where our true colors have always been Aggie blue and white.
Incidentally, my Beezer lock and key lock of this game for the Aggies to win was I said we had to score in the first quarter to stay with Colorado State. We scored 3, so I mean, we did finally score against an FBS team this year for the first time, but it doesn't make any difference. But I also just felt like that you didn't want to get into any kind of chasing them the way they'd been offensively. But you know what? They were not the kind of team advertised coming into this game because the Aggie defense had a plan tonight, and it worked and slowed them down. It was not easy for them to get out to their 17-0 lead. Offensively, they had a 22-yard run and a 23-yard pass play, and that was it against our defense early in the game to be up 17-0. So our defense was really, really good tonight against supposedly the third best pass attack in the country, and we certainly showed why they are the second worst pass defense in the nation. But maybe Cooper Legal was, after he got that start, and the pressure they wore out maybe a little bit on the pressure. And then Kamara got hurt. Horton got hurt. They're two best players. But I don't think that would have made a difference in the end, the way it was going in this game.
No, I think the way that that offense was starting to roll for Utah State, that the run offense was going, and they started to pass the ball a little bit. They were able to have some success there, which forced that defensive front to second guess where things were going to go a little bit, taking some pressure off of Cooper Legal. But they hand it to Booth, to Faison, Briggs. I mean, they had a great night. I know the wide receivers were fantastic too, but they need a lot of credit.
Booth 141, Briggs 80, and Faison 51. That's 270 yards out of your running backs. That's amazing.
Yeah, fantastic job by the running backs tonight. Especially just taking that pressure off of Cooper and that the pressure that defensive front was bringing.
All right, this is your show. So, again, 339-0321 is the text line. The phone number is available at 753-KVNU to talk about Aggies 44-24. What have we got over there, Eric, for Ryan to respond to?
Yeah, 8826. This may actually be a better question for you, Al. When was the last time USU had 3 receivers with 100-plus yards each, along with a 100-plus yard rusher?
Okay, here's the 100-yard receiving games stats for Utah State, and they're all not in the same game into that one. And I know it for 2 of them, it was back to 2021 when it was Tompkins and Bowling that both had in the same game. So that wasn't it. 2019, no. 2018... we had 2 against New Mexico, 2 against North Texas. In 2015, 13, I've got to. I'm still going. I'm going back. I'm going back to. Okay, I'm going to go back for a while, and I'll see if I can find that. Okay, because I've got them right here in front of me.
Not just 3 receivers to go for 100 yards or more, but also a running back to go for 100 yards or more. That's a pretty interesting combination. All right, another text here, 5879. What a great win. We've got to have a trick up our sleeves or something against Fresno. How do we beat those guys with our defensive front struggles?
Well, Fresno tonight, Wyoming cut them down and shut them off, and they didn't do a lot of things offensively, defensively, and Wyoming was able to kind of run the ball a little bit to run the ball away from them, and Peasley threw for 3 touchdowns against them tonight in their win.
Yeah, so, Fresno showed today that they are vulnerable.
I thought Fresno was looking pretty good, but they, of course, struggled to beat that Division II team. They played an FCS team earlier, so they've been world beaters. But that's the second longest win streak in the nation that went out by Wyoming winning tonight, incidentally. That'll be Friday night in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, the only team in the conference right now that I've seen that I said, that's the best team is Air Force. Mm-hmm. Everybody else,
I agree,
is up and down and losing, having closer games than they should, losing to people they shouldn't lose to. I mean, Air Force is really the only team that I've seen, and then we're talking San Diego State, Fresno, Boise, all of them. The Falcons are the only team that have looked really impressive every game.
Off the top of looking at this, Eric, I got your answer. I think it's 1996. As Steve Smith, Nakia Jenkins, and Sean Turner all had 100 yards receiving against Cal State Northridge.
Wow.
That's the only time I see 3 straight games listed together. I see quite a few 2 games in that, and I see that, and I don't know if I see another one going back in the record books. And they only go back to about 1957 of keeping these kinds of stats. But it may be the first time in, what would that be, 27 years that it's happened. Might be.
It's a long time.
3 guys to catch 100 yards. And we only had 3 receivers tonight in the game.
Yeah,
they caught
bonkers.
all the passes.
That is absolute bonkers. Another text coming through, 5633. Coach Anderson has his critics. I am not one of them, by the way. But the young men don't give up on him and persevere through adversity. And that says a lot about how much they love and respect him.
I'd agree with that. There's something going on here for them to not get down in all these games and continue to just, come right out and play.
Well, wasn't it Ike Larson who made several comments to that fact after the UConn game? Mm-hmm. Just how much they love Coach Anderson and love to go to work for him every day. 9315 texting in, I think the defense is getting way better all the time. Well, I guess there's a couple texts here. Don't let this team confuse you and excite you all at the same time with the way the season is going. The penalty, like the dumb ones for player being undisciplined, have been coming down.
Mm-hmm. They have.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, the number of penalties have been declining for Utah State, and those kind of penalties of passion, if you will, those seem to be declining as well, which is good. Mm-hmm. And then 5662 texting in, wondering if the Cottonley hit looked dirty to those watching on TV.
The guy got there late. It's not like he just looked like he leapt at his leg from a different angle. He was kind of coming at him, trying to block the punt, I guess you could say. Although the coach, he did say, his little comment there was he thought it was a little bit maybe dirty. That's what Coach Anderson just said post game.
I mean, it's obviously it was roughing the punter. Mm-hmm. That's why they have the penalty. You see it happen a lot, and most of the time the punters jump up and they're fine. Like it just must have caught him just right. It's unfortunate. I don't think it was dirty at all. The kid was trying to block the punt. It's not like he hit him late or something, like a roughing the passer type of thing. It was just unfortunate, really. And, hats off to Cottonley. Like, the way he got in the cart and was pumping the crowd and everything. I mean, I'm sure he's up on adrenaline and wasn't quite – I'm sure he's not quite as happy right now after he what it sounds like, broke his ankle. But yeah, it's unfortunate because he's a weapon, great punter who was, doing some good work for us. So hopefully this next guy can step up and, next guy up.
He in one game he tried to throw a pass. He actually the Elliott Nimrod play that he scored on was technically, I think, called a run because it was kind of a backwards pass in the game where we had the 2 fakes in the same game.
Yeah, Cottonley's a weapon. I mean, he's been a great part of Utah State trying to flip the field or make life difficult for the opposing offenses, and with how a lot of his punts pin the opposition inside the 10-yard line or sometimes inside the 20. So
Ryan Marks,
it's going to be rough.
Ryan Marks took over for him. His punt almost went straight right along the goal line. It didn't go in though when he did come in there late in the ball game. So that showed a little bit of ability on that play. So the guy who backed him up.
Yeah, the backup. Got a text here asking about the conference, 6543. What's your opinion about the overall strength of the conference this year?
Okay. Ryan, you're our football expert.
Definitely down compared to the last few years. I mean, I would say most years we have 2 or 3 teams that are pretty dominant within the conference. They'll, go beat some Power 5 teams and make some noise and do well. Right now, again, other than Air Force, I really think the conference is down across the board. But you can kind of say that about college football in general. Even Georgia, it's like every team across the board. Alabama's barely winning football games. So, you know what? One of the things, as much as we want to complain about the transfer portal, it seems to be creating some more parity in that guys are moving where they can go play. And I really don't feel like there's any teams across any conference anywhere that are just completely dominating like we've seen in years past. Everybody's kind of playing down, I think, a little bit, and I like it. I like when every week you're like, oh my gosh, Alabama just got beat by who? And it's more fun than, let's just wait till the SEC championship game, and that might be the one time that they get tested. And there's, Ohio State's just running through everybody. It's like, I think there really is some more parity in college football right now, which is fun.
In our conference, again, probably we were talking about this, Eric and I were, other than Air Force, the most surprising team so far has been UNLV.
Yeah.
They had a bye today, but they're like 4-1 on the season.
Yeah.
They won one conference game. They did beat Vanderbilt. Now, again, that's not the cream of the Southeastern Conference, but they've been able to. Their only loss was somebody pretty good. It seemed like, was it Michigan? I think they lost to Michigan. Maybe early in the year.
I don't remember.
I think it was Michigan is their only loss.
Fresno State, they've been in the top 25 for a couple of weeks.
They were to number 24 this week.
It's good for the conference. I think Air Force is not that far behind. Wyoming's been pretty solid.
They're only lost to Texas.
Yeah, as you mentioned, UNLV 4-1. So I think that there are good teams in this conference. I think there are some duds at the bottom. But I think there's also a lot of kind of competitive in the middle. And so Boise State's had some moments where they were
tested
not very
tonight.
Good, and
they're down 27-7 and came back and
finally
won.
Beat San Jose, who's not really a good team. So I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I mean, there's teams that are playing pretty well, but Fresno State taking a step back tonight probably doesn't help the league, at least in the national. Getting to a big bowl game that means a lot of money for the conference later on.
We're probably now hoping that Air Force runs the table to be able to get the conference. It's a big team into one of the big New Year's bowl games.
Yeah.
Is probably our only chance now. That might be the best chance. Yeah, Boise 35-27. They were down 27-7 in that game and came back and won. Kind of like an Aggie deal in some ways there. And that was early, too, when they got down to San Jose State. So San Jose had a good start. But, boy, again, Aggies something with 37 straight points tonight in winning this one. Again, the final score 44-24. We'd love to hear from you. Phone lines are wide open. 753-KBNU. Always great to hear from Aggie fans live, but you can use the text line as well. 339-0321 as the Aggies win tonight over Colorado State and get the record back to 3-3 and 1-1 in conference play.
Not everyone has been in an accident, but everyone knows someone who has. If you or a loved one has been hurt in a car, truck, motorcycle, cycling, or pedestrian accident, call the Advocates today, now with offices in Cache Valley. The Advocates offer free consultations. Talk with an experienced attorney and let an advocate guide you through your case and take over the stress of phone calls with the insurance company so you can rest and get better. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate. Chat online at utahadvocates.com or call 801-355-5550.
Experience Barrel and Stave on Federal Avenue, where good food, good drinks, and good people meet. Using local ingredients to create the most delicious taste possible. Barrel and Stave is a cozy cocktail bar offering a large selection of wines, whiskeys, and cocktails, along with an amazing selection of bar bites and weekly chef specials guaranteed to tantalize your taste buds. With live music every Wednesday night and Thirsty Thursdays that offer $2 off drafts, come and see what you've been missing. Barrel and Stave, Tuesday through Saturday evenings on Federal Avenue.
We are pleased to introduce the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Montpelier. For generations, we have served the local community, and we've been so thrilled to be your choice for new and used vehicles. Well, our community is changing, growing, and expanding, and we're right here growing with you. We are so proud to serve the people of Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. We're the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Montpelier with warranty forever. Come and see us.
It's cold outside, but you can keep warm inside with a quality-built, super-efficient York furnace. Count on a furnace from York because it's backed by the strongest warranties available. It's just another way we install confidence. Call Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning, your local York dealer, at 752-7272. Online at advancedheating-ac.com. York, install confidence.
We're not comfortable until you are. Advanced Heating and Air.
Aggie Sports coverage is sponsored in part by LSS Insurance Agency, your local Medicare and Social Security experts on News Talk KVNU, where Utah State is always number one.
I've highlighted a couple of interesting notes out of this game tonight. We always do, again, all of our notes and stats brought to you by Cache Valley Bank, and we appreciate Cache Valley Bank, always one of our sponsors, your partner along the way. Again, they'll help you with whatever challenges and opportunities that you face. They're here to support you. Cache Valley Bank. Got one other one tonight. Terrell Vaughn in the game did pass 100 career catches. There were 21 Aggies who'd done that before him, and he passed 1,000 yards as a receiver, and there were 37 Aggies before, but he's become one of the great Aggie pass receivers in just, these a couple of years of the way he can really play for Utah State and make plays, and he got more explosive tonight. I mentioned before the game, I went through one segment of my game day where I mentioned how many catches their wide receiver group had, and everybody was talking about their wide receiver group being great. And a lot of theirs was yards after the catch. We didn't see a lot of that from their guys tonight. Our guys got tons of yards after the catch, and completely our group blew away Colorado State's group tonight in the wide receiver competition.
Yeah, I mean, got a tip.
Now, again, Horton got hurt, but again, the Aggies took him out of the game with a solid hit.
Yeah, and I mean, he would have been impactful, but even if he had played the rest of the game, I don't see that swinging this game in their favor. Maybe they score another touchdown or something. But, defensively, I mean, our corners were – because even the throws that they did make, our coverage was there. The corners were close. The safeties were over the top. I got a couple picks. They turned the ball – and usually, I feel like we got guys wide open all over the field, and we're chasing guys down, and our safeties are making all these tackles 12 yards down the field. That just didn't happen today. So I felt like we played well at all the levels: D-line, linebackers, and corners.
We had one sack, but we got pressure and made their quarterback uncomfortable.
Absolutely. And, sacks are obviously, the more exciting thing, but pressures a lot of times are just as important because timing is so important. If the quarterback just doesn't feel comfortable and he can't step into it, has to let it go a little early, the route's not developed yet. I mean, it looked like that. He looked out of sorts. And supposedly,
he was the number one guy in the conference going into the game. So we did it.
Yeah, I mean, they certainly pressured Lega a fair amount, but
early in the game, it was brutal.
Yeah, it was really brutal.
And Kamara, you could see, he's had a sack in every single game that he's played this year, and the pro scouts are talking about him having an elite pass rush compared to guys in college football.
Oh, yeah.
And then he got hurt eventually.
The Aggies were able to get their own pressure.
He got hurt on his own tackle. Remember, he tackled an Aggie guy and never came back up. I want to mention My Mattress. There are 2 locations in Logan. Again, that is your representative for IntelliBed and Purple. The Advocates, the injury attorneys. Remember, they do have an old Logan office now. You can chat anytime. It won't cost you a dime after an accident. See if they can help you. It's 801-355-5550. Call that number. They'll get the Logan office for you. And DD Auto and Salvage. Again, this is Cache Valley's #1 place to get the most money for your junk vehicles and scrap metal. Now, go ahead, Eric.
A couple texts coming through. 1279 says, I'm guessing this is in reference to Kotzenle. Says he broke his tibia and fibula.
Ooh.
That doesn't sound good.
That's not good.
8968 says, I've got to confess to that. Basically, I gave up after 5 minutes into the game. Let's put it where it's at. The Aggies give them the first 17 points. When one looks at it, that fourth quarter touchdown was very much aided by some really badly timed dumb penalties.
Yeah, they got some deals. And, pass interference and the late hit they called there or whatever it was. Or
back
something.
to back, they helped them out there.
They went 10 straight series without scoring in this game. Colorado State did.
Yeah, and some penalties
against our defense.
Gifted them some yards there to get them into scoring territory. 9315 texting in. Okay, a couple of the texts here. Who was the backup punter, and if is he good?
Well, Ryan Marks was the one who came in tonight. He's a kid from Farmington High School, as I recall. I think he's just a freshman, on the team. In fact, he's he was a redshirt freshman, so he was here last year. I don't know if he's a scholarship guy or where they're at with kickers and all those things in those areas.
See a lot more of him.
But he's going to probably have. Like I said, the one punt he punted tonight wasn't bad. It was 40 yards and went right down there.
I've got a cheer for Ike. I'm not going to repeat it. But then it says, how likely we have a quarterback fight on our hands at QB1 after this game?
Because Coach did say Hillstead he thought would be cleared to play sometime this week. Do you lose your starting job because of an injury?
No, I don't think you can.
So does Hillstead then get to start against Fresno State after Lega put together a career high tonight of 387 yards and 4 touchdowns? So,
I mean, if Hillstead is cleared early enough to get the reps for the week, he's the guy. Coach Anderson still, he gave props to Cooper today for sticking in there, but you can still tell that he's angry with a lot of decisions he's making. And this is a guy that's been in the program for 5 years. Like, he's making mistakes that you just can't make at his stage in his career. And he did. I give a ton of credit that he stuck in there and had a fantastic 3 quarters. But that first quarter is going to lose us games in almost any other situation. If you have a quarter like that, especially in the first quarter, you're going to lose football games. And so, Hillstead's our future. If he's healthy, he's the guy. And it's awesome you got Cooper to back him up, and he can come in and do what he's done the last game and a half for us, which is fantastic. But in terms of instilling confidence and being the guy and throwing on time, and he just made a lot of silly mistakes that aren't going to change at this stage in his career. You can't blame it on being a freshman.
Yeah.
Didn't the coach? I think the coach did say a while back. I think he was quoted as saying, "You don't lose your starting spot by injury." I think even Coach Anderson kind of said that when somebody asked about it. So we'll see. He was saying he thought he could get back into practice, and they won't start till the game's on Friday, so they may try to do more of like Tuesday on Monday, because that's usually the day they really start practicing every week, and they probably have to do that for this week's game.
1326, I think the hit on Kotzenle was dirty. Anderson did mention that the CSU coaches apologized. Just because you apologize doesn't necessarily mean that's an admonition or an admission of guilt about that you thought it was a dirty play.
They needed one more opportunity to get it back to 44-24. Well, it was at the time it's 37-24. So if they could have blocked the kick, get it back and score, they're still in the game.
Yeah.
So it's not like if it would have been a 20-point game and that happened, might be a little different. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a penalty. There's no question, right? And it's unfortunate. But if Kotzenle doesn't break his ankle, we're not talking about a dirty play. Yeah. We're just saying, hey, that was stupid. The penalty. Hey, it was awesome for us. We got a first down. Then but because he got hurt, now all of a sudden we're saying, oh, that was malicious, and it's like I just don't think that's the case.
Another text coming through 2584. I watched the backup punter at half. He looked good and hit some boomers. Not sure how consistent he'll be.
Okay. Well, and again, his first opportunity when the pressure comes on and we're backed up in the goal line, which will probably happen in the first quarter of the game next week. And we'll see how he comes through.
Yeah. Then one more from 9315. I must pack the Mav next game. Yeah, absolutely. You got a team that was in the top 25, a team that's still, a very good program in Fresno State. It needs to be a good home crowd next Friday night.
What did they announce? They were saying afterwards, Scott was saying that it was the biggest crowd we've had except for maybe a BYU game on Blake Anderson's year. What did they say the crowd was? Do you know?
I don't know what the announced attendance was. I'll have to try to find that.
Must have been announced at least. It would be close to 20,000, I would have to think, would be at least something that they announced tonight. We'll have to see.
It looked like it was a good crowd.
Mm-hmm. But again, sometimes kind of, you have to remember, K-Jazz Television, we basically get to see exactly what you would see on the board in the stadium. They don't have any extra camera work or any extra angles and things like that. And that's why they can't have very many good reviews in these games either. That's why James Madison, even though they might have had it on the phone, and I talked to Nimrod after, and he said he didn't step out, and I've got it on my phone from people that I didn't step out. So, the James Madison game back. So, hey, serving the community and thrilled to be your choice for new and used vehicles. We just played their ad a few minutes ago. The new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Montpelier with the warranty forever. Again, they're one of our new game day sponsors. Great to have them with us on our Aggie coverage. Ryan Bohm, Eric Franson, myself, Al Lewis, you're the most important. We'd still love to hear from you with a phone call or a text. Phone number is 753-5868, and the text line is 339-0321. We'll be right back.
This is Jay from Daryl's Appliance. Scratch and dent appliances are a great way to save big money on nearly perfect machines. Is your washer out of service? We just got a surplus of scratch and dent washers, so we are offering an additional 10% off scratch and dent laundry appliances until October 7th. Find the coupon on our website, darylsappliance.com. Don't forget Daryl's exclusive 2-year extended warranty free on scratch and dent appliances. That's at Daryl's, where service always comes first. Daryl's West on Airport Road.
Fall is here. This is Mark at the Sportsman on Main Street. I invite you into our amazing store to see the new fall collection of amazing clothing, shoes, and outerwear for women and men. We have brands like Cool, Fiore, Fjallraven, and we have brought in some new brands from Europe that you will love. Trust me, you will look truly unique in whatever you buy from the Sportsman. Come in and let us take care of you. You'll be glad you did. For over 75 years, come and see us at the Sportsman on Main in downtown Logan with tons of parking in the back.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
Hello, I'm Garrett Tanner, Operations Manager at Cache Valley Bank. With 20 years of banking experience, I strive to use my knowledge to help small businesses overcome any challenges they may face, no matter how complex. My customers are important to me, and I take a genuine interest in understanding their lives. Come visit me at our mall branch or give me a call. I'd love to get to know you and show you what opening an account at Cache Valley Bank can do for you. Cache Valley Bank, member FDIC.
The home for Aggie sports. News Talk KVNU, 102 FM and 610 AM.
And we do appreciate Advanced Heating and Air Conditioning. Remember, they remind you if you need service for your heating unit, call them first. And their number is easy to remember. Where do you want to stay in your house? 72 degrees. 752-7272 year-round. Their great systems are available. New gas fireplace, too. They've got that advanced fireplace and stove. S.C. Needham Jewelers, where Utah gets engaged, the state's oldest jewelry store. And we always appreciate them being one of our sponsors on game day. 44-24 Aggies. They were a 3-point underdog before the game started, and they win the game going away by 20 after it being down 17-0. They score 37 points in a row if you're just tuning in. They had 639 yards of offense, one of the top 10 on my charts I can find. And I believe it's maybe the first time since 1996 we've had 3 receivers get 100 yards. And we also had another running back to get 141 rushing the ball in this game. So after the first quarter, where Utah State ended up, I wrote it down here, 46 yards. And Colorado State only had 85 when they were up by 17-0. By the time half rolled around, we had 270 yards, and they had 124. And so, again, we had that ball game at the end of the first half of play where it was 17-all, and then the Aggies took the lead in the second half and ran away and won the game. So, all right, we do have Gio on the phone line. Gio, go ahead. You're on Aggie Call postgame, 753 KBNU. Gio called in. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. So I think on the attendance they announced just under 23K, so a great crowd, great atmosphere. Also, I wanted to give a shout-out to Teague Anderson. I thought he had a great game, really young guy who's come in because of injury and done really well on the O-line.
He has. We should always congratulate these guys who do that, like Teague. Teague is a redshirt freshman from Lehigh, Utah, and he has had to play a lot. He's kind of listed as a backup to Moats, but he's been playing kind of with Moats, and then when Moats has now been out, he's been playing a lot. He really has.
Yeah. Also, I'm from Farmington, so I watched Ryan Marks kick all through high school, and I think people are going to be pretty happy with what he can do. And he's also got quite a leg on him for field goals if it ever came to that. But anyway, looking forward to seeing him play. And then I do want to go back to the question of the season, right? Or actually the question of Blake Anderson's career. I really appreciate everything he does. But especially this season, I think we could be a pretty good team if we could show up when the game starts. And I just wanted to ask Ryan if he could kind of comment on what he thinks the issues might be there, because I just don't buy what Coach says when he says everybody's stronger than us and they get tired, because Colorado State didn't get tired after 10 minutes. So anyway, just wanted to get Ryan's point of view on that. Okay. Thanks, guys. I'll hang up and listen.
Thank you, Gio. It's nice to have you.
Appreciate it, Gio. Man, I think that there's something in whether it's pregame, whether it's the warm up, whether it's the scripting that Coach talked about. There's something that's going on where guys just aren't quite ready to go on the kickoff. And the only thing I can compare it to is my little league team that I'm coaching right now. If we don't start hitting each other before the game starts, then we're going to start slow. And they're going to take it to us for a little while until everybody kind of settles into the game. And there's some nerves and things that are going on. And so there's something in our routine to get going in this game where guys aren't ready. I don't know if Cooper needs to get sacked 4 times before he is ready to play football, but for heaven's sakes, let's start roughing him up pregame or something to get calmed down. So yeah, Coach can say that, they're doing everything they can to kind of switch it up, but we're going on 2 seasons now where it's happening all the time. So there's something habitual about the way that we're starting games or getting prepared or our warm-up process that just isn't getting guys ready to go at the kickoff. So,
because even remember in the great year when we won 11 games, look how many times we came back from double digits in those games to win.
Absolutely. And we've been doing it. But you're not going to win a championship playing like this. You just can't. There's no way we will continue to win games starting like this, because we're going to play better teams, and they're not going to just lay down after the first quarter.
Well, we've won 2 and we've lost 3 against the major teams this year so far when we've gotten behind in games.
Yeah, so we're not going to be able to sustain it, and you want to get momentum, and you got to feel confident and be excited. And I mean, as a fan, it's horrible. I've honestly, in the last decade, I think I've left one football game, and it was the Southern Utah game that we were down with 5 minutes to go and then ended up running a punt back to win the game or something. That is the one game that I left. I was so mad. Oh. But that James Madison game at halftime, I looked at my wife and I was like, let's go. And she was like, no, let's stick around, whatever. And I'm grateful that she kept me around. But I was ready to go. And today, I'm telling you, I was ready to turn it off. I'm like, this is atrocious. So you can't do this to us either as fans. Holy cow, guys, we got to start playing better. And I think the defense did a little bit, but offensively, we can't do that.
We last week, we hurt ourselves taking 2 kickoff returns early in the game out of the end zone and gave us bad field position against UConn. Tonight, it's the special teams that hurt us early in this game to get behind, too, because the ball hits a guy, and then we let a punt return go. So it hasn't – it's been one phase of the 3 that's supposedly the one you don't think that much about that's kind of hurt us these last 2 games to get behind. And then, obviously, the offense hasn't done anything in the first part of the last 2 games either. Defense was in a bad spot against UConn and eventually did kind of hang in there and kind of did the same in this game tonight. And really, I thought, exerted themselves even more than they did in the UConn game, our defense did. So
yeah, I don't know if it's what's happening during the week in practices and if they're not as physical with each other during the practices. And then
we've got so many guys hurt. We don't want to hurt anybody else.
Yeah, it takes a minute to get accustomed and acclimated to game action. I don't know. It is weird. It's just this isn't something that is necessarily a habitual problem with Blake Anderson, because he did not have this problem at Arkansas State. It's just while he's been here in Logan. It's been
but he has won 20 games and only lost 12.
Yeah.
And he has gone 18, in the Mountain West so far in the years he's played in the conference, 12-6. So that's a whole lot better than we used to have things going on. And also, 14 of the 20 wins have been comeback wins to win of the Blake Anderson years.
Well, the only thing I can say is legitimately could not get any worse in the first quarter. So let's try something different. Let's try something different because it couldn't possibly. What is it like? We've scored 10 points and we've given up 90,000. So I don't know how it could possibly get worse. Whatever it is we're doing to warm up.
Where is my quarter thing here? I've got it somewhere in the top of my thing. We've now been outscored 84-7 in the first quarter this year, and the only 7 we had scored until tonight when we finally got the 3 at the end of this. So I guess it's 84-10 now is the way it is. This is the first time we scored against an FBS team. We got 7 points against Idaho State and then exploded in the second quarter with 37, I think it was, there in that game. We're at KVNU Logan. We're in the 11 o'clock hour of Saturday night. Aggies won 44-24, and we're brought to you by Daryl's Appliance. Why buy from them? The no-risk extended warranty. And if you don't use it after 5 years, they're going to give you your money back. So their warranties cover it all. There's no crazy copays from Daryl's when you buy great appliances from them. And the Elements Restaurant, again, terrific spot to enjoy a great meal down by the river. The Riverwoods Conference Center and Elements Restaurant is one of our sponsors. And also downtown is the Sportsman with their fantastic trail to theater. They could take care of you with a great shopping experience for fantastic clothes and all the other sporting equipment. Al Lewis and Ryan Bohm, Eric Franson. Eric, anything else in the text line?
Well, I appreciate the number of texts.
What was the number
that
exactly?
came through about the attendance tonight? 5180 nails it on the head. 22,846.
Okay.
So just a hair under 23,000. So 5452 and 1279. Appreciate you sending in the attendance figures as well. And also 1326 sent a picture that had the attendance figure on there. 3342 texting in saying
we never had a 20,000 home attendance last year in a game.
No, that's right.
Yeah.
It's a game that did not involve Utah, BYU, or Boise State. That's a good number.
And we didn't have one last year, so we'd probably have to go back to maybe 2021. We probably might have got close to that when,
Yeah, 3342. What are the stats on how much we have been outscored in the first quarters this year? And I think you just illustrated that.
It's 84-10.
And then 8968 texting and saying, I'll take a comeback win any day that you really messed up loss. I'll take a comeback win any day you really messed up loss.
Maybe messed up at the start of the game, or messed up less.
Comeback win. A win is a win.
Well, yeah, you don't
for sure.
You never get rid of wins. I mean, look at the times James Madison came all the way back there and couldn't get that one when we had all the momentum in the world to maybe get that game at home.
Yeah, I mean, you dig the hole too deep and
you beat a team there was undefeated going into today, and I don't know if they played or not, but then you're at 4-2. And you've really maybe got something going a little bit if you do come all the way back and win that game.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, 9315 is suggesting that we need to get the NCAA to change games to just 3 quarters of football. Then we're beating teams like Bama.
Well, the problem would be it would have to be only the second quarter to the fourth quarter, because if we squeeze it to 3 quarters, then we're really not going to come back.
These slow starts. Crazy. But, hey, you know what? Credit to that defense. I thought Switzer was all over the place. MJ Tafisi, Ike Larson made great plays. Dye. Oh, my gosh, yes. That guy is making great plays all over the place.
Is really, I mean, he, Switzer, and Ike Larson have been the standouts and have made defensive plays all year long that have changed games and made it huge and things like that. And then MJ, again, was having a good game tonight, and it's good to have him back because, remember, he kind of was out one game with an injury, too.
Yeah, it's true. It's good to have them back. Good to see things starting to – I mean, there were a lot of questions about this team going into the season with so much roster turnover. It's taken them a little bit. They're still trying to get a few things settled. And there's been a lot of injuries on that offensive front, too, but – that's been interesting to see how that's coming together and guys are stepping up to play important roles to help get this team, or at least finding ways to coach around that to help get the game moving and moving the chains, and the running backs really helping out with that a lot too.
I think Craig and I took the 2 deep from where it was introduced, and they've kind of run the same 2 deep in the release each week. They haven't really changed it, even though from the start of the year. But I think we counted
11 or 13 guys that didn't play last week against UConn. I don't know where it was tonight. A few of those guys did get back into the game tonight for the Aggies but we do have some injury problems there, and it's a short week, and we're going to talk about that when we come back next in our Aggie Game Day segment. So one last chance for you to get in texts or phone calls. Again, 753-KVNU 5868 is our phone number, or the text line is 339-0321. We appreciate Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat. They're accepting new patients in North Logan and Providence, and their allergy clinic hearing aid center is a part of it, and most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted. And Aggies Home Care and Hospice experience their difference with their core values of character experience. They go above and beyond with passionate care. Again, that is Aggies Home Care and Hospice. We'll be right back with more. Aggies win 44-24 tonight.
Hey, this is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. This October marks our 15th year anniversary. So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary date. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have thousands of designs to choose from, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached and no purchase necessary, we will buy you a sweet treat at Yumberry. The entire month of October, come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping, and Yumberry is on us. Make date night special. Make it Jarek's.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. My brother Travis and I opened our first store here in Logan in 2010 by Big 5 Sports. Recently, we opened our second location by Red Balloon Toys. We carry the world's best beds, IntelliBed Purple, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy Posturepedic. And yes, we are the ones that tease Lewiston once in a while. We're 6th generation Cache Valley family, and chances are that you or your neighbor have bought a bed from us, and we value that more than anything. Come into the North or South My Mattress today and sleep better tonight. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally?
When it comes to home care, it's important to know you have a choice. If you or a loved one is in need of hospice or home health services, remember that Primrose Home Care and Hospice believes in treating the patient as well as the problem. We work directly with you and your doctor to create a health plan that's catered to your needs. Our team is devoted to providing options in the freedom and safety of your own home. Visit us at primrosecare.com or call to schedule a free consultation. Primrose Home Care and Hospice, your local hospice and home health provider since 2006.
S.E. Needham Jewelers is where Utah gets engaged. Couples throughout the state buy their rings from S.E. Needham Jewelers because of our low prices, extensive ring selection, and extraordinary benefits and services with financing available. Go to seneedham.com to learn more. We have many unique and beautiful engagement rings starting at $500. You'll find affordable engagement rings with our integrity price guarantee. This is why we are where Utah gets engaged. Open Monday through Saturday, 10 to 7. S.E. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Utah State Aggie Sports is sponsored by Prodigy Brewing, Logan's family-friendly brew pub. Best of Northern Utah winner on News Talk KVNU.
And let me mention Alpine Home Medical, one of our good sponsors. Compression stocking, CPAP supplies, lift chairs, oxygen supplies, and more. Look no further than Alpine Home Medical, and it is online, alpinehomemedical.com. Along with Ryan Bowman, Eric Franson, Al Lewis here, and Utah State 44-24 getting their first conference win. They're 1-1, and they will play a game on Friday night at home. We got another text, you said, in our text line number of 339-0321. Eric?
Yeah, 8265, couple of texts here. We just won homecoming and you think we lost. Stop being so negative.
No.
Jeez. It says, give Cooper his crown. He's a comeback king. Our record would be worse if all we had was Hillstead, and you know it. Cooper clears Hillstead and should stay QB1. No battle.
If Cooper Legas would not have done what he did after when he came right in against Connecticut, remember, and threw the next pass for a touchdown after Jalen Royals had caught the one. I think there was a pass interference the very first play he ran or something before he threw the touchdown pass to Royals after Royals made that one-hand catch. He was terrific there, and it wouldn't have probably happened against Connecticut to win. And then tonight, if he overcame the start to go 17 for 20. So you got to hand him a lot for where he's at. I'm not taking anything away from him at this particular point. So.
8265 continues to make the case for Cooper. Says career high 4 touchdowns, 387 yards.
And absolutely.
A win. All you want to dwell on is a bad first quarter. A win is supposed to be fun, and you guys sucked all the fun out of the postgame by doing nothing but talking about the negative. Apparently you haven't heard the whole thing because we've been talking about a lot of positives today. But look, Coach Anderson made it clear that he was coaching Cooper Legas hard. He made that clear multiple times.
Real hard. It
Real
sounds like,
hard.
yeah.
And look, yes, give Cooper credit. He took it. He made his adjustments, and he improved as the game got on. But
and we did something to kind of cut off a little bit of the pressure, and that quarterback draw. That's a play. When teams are coming after you, Ryan Bohm, you run that, and it starts to back them off a little bit if you start to get some yards, and we got a little bit out of that.
Yeah. And again, I mean, don't take anything away from him, but it's Kent Myers all over again. Like, he's a great athlete. I love his attitude. He wants to perform. He prepares well. Like, don't take anything away from that kid. But Hillstead's the guy moving forward.
For the future.
For the future. Okay. And, I mean, that's just the bottom line. So, if Laga's our guy next week, awesome. I'm 100%. Let's go. Let's go get a win. And if he plays like he did in the second, third, and fourth quarter, we got a shot. When Hillstead's healthy, put that kid in the game because his game is better for what we're trying to do. The offense we're running, he's got a better game for it, and we've got a lot of runway ahead for him. If he makes the same mistakes that Cooper's making, we're like, hey, he's a freshman. It is what it is, right? So, yeah, I mean, we'll take these W's all day long. It was an exciting game. It was fun. There's no taking away any of those things. But we certainly, we can't keep doing this.
Remember, Hillstead threw a touchdown with, 14 seconds left against UConn to make it 17-7. We hadn't had anything in the first half of that game, and then he came right out, and we got the second half going, and then Laga had to come in for him on that scoring drive where we eventually really got back into the game.
Started to change the attitude there in the field. Let's see, 5180 texting in. Please comment on broken ankle, adrenaline, and revving up the crowd as they cart him off the field. Amazing.
It was Stephen. I told you when I interviewed Stephen, and I've talked to him a couple of times. He's one of the great personalities you'd ever want to talk to. I hope you heard our pregame interview we had a couple of about probably 3 games back, where we had him talking about Australian football and how he learned to punt and how he got into this and how he still thinks Australian rules football is better than American football and all these things. But he's a great personality. You could tell the players on the sideline played for him. And Booth played for him and went out and ran, 48 yards for a touchdown on the very next play.
Ryan, as a former player, and I don't know if you've ever had an injury quite like what he just had, but the getting hurt but having that adrenaline to still maybe do some things and pump up your teammates, or if it hadn't happened to you, maybe you've had a teammate that's happened to. And just kind of the reacting to an injury like that.
Yeah, I was lucky enough. I didn't have anything like that, and we didn't have any guys go down in a similar fashion when I was up here. But we certainly had guys get hurt, and it's tough. I mean, these are your brothers, your blood, sweat, and tears. You spend so much time with them. It's your family, and so if there's a perception of that was a dirty play, or especially in a nasty fashion like that, where immediately you knew he was hurt and hurt bad, it's hard to stay cool because you're taught to protect your guys.
And kickers are defenseless. The punter is defenseless when he plants with one foot and jumps in the air and leaps and kicks with that other foot. He's almost got 2 off the ground and can get really waylaid pretty good. Bad.
Yeah, so it's too bad. I'm glad we were able to keep our cool for the most part, and props to him, to try and pump up the crowd. And I think the way that he reacted helped in terms of kind of settling guys down and maybe not having it escalate into something bad. If he hadn't reacted quite as well, maybe one of our guys goes and cheap shots them or something like that. So, hopefully he can recover quickly, and maybe it's not quite as bad as we're making it out to be, but it seemed the way they reacted. I mean, she was holding his ankle as they were driving away. I mean, I think it was as bad as we think it was.
Well, coach seemed to kind of almost confirm what he knew and stuff like that.
Yeah, not good. 9315 asking, O-line, who was new due to injury today?
They really didn't. What happened was Frias did start to play at left tackle after they started the game out there with Knapp.
Tavo Motuapuaka did play in the game at right guard, went out at the start of the game, but eventually that was where they put Maui, who played center last week, and then Pule Alo came in at the end of the game and was the one who got the penalty at the end and got taken out, but he was playing center eventually, and then they were playing Bowers on one side and then playing Teague Anderson on the other side. That seemed to be the line that was most, but maybe it was, Kevin White mentioned in the broadcast, maybe it was when Frias went in at that left tackle spot. But, Kamara, they, said they'll put him everywhere on the field. He doesn't always rush off of that side. No, that seemed to be where he was coming in early in this game and all that.
2506 asking, didn't Bonner throw interceptions, but coach stood behind him? What's the difference with Cooper?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's true.
I think it's because Bonner came from Arkansas State. He was really Anderson's guy. And so, we talked a lot about that season. And,
And it changed when Cooper came in that season. We had a little bit of a spark for a while, obviously, to get a record good enough to go to a bowl game.
Yeah, I don't think Coach Anderson has the same relationship with Cooper that he had, with Bonner. And I think even, coming into the first game of this season, he wasn't totally sold on Cooper and his skill set. So I think he's been on thin ice all year. And, if there was another, truth be told, if Hillstead was able to play but just didn't start, after the first quarter, he would have put him in. Mm-hmm. If there was another option, somebody else would have gone in the second quarter. There's no question in my mind that would have been, we would have never seen his career high, all this stuff, if there was another option. And so to think that this...
That's why he was coaching him hard, because there may not have been another option, too.
So to think that this, washes away that attitude and kind of where we're at with him, I just don't think it does.
We led the nation last year with interceptions. We've now thrown 9 so far this year in 6 games.
And I think I have to give Coach Anderson maybe a little bit of credit for maybe learning from what happened last year, going a little bit too long with a guy who clearly wasn't right.
Because he quickly made a move in the Air Force game.
Right. Excuse me. Yeah, He didn't hesitate. He didn't waste time. Just, hey, let's keep trotting him out there and give him a chance. Because he could have made the same case. This is a guy who threw touchdowns and helped us win the conference championship game. Why are you getting mad at me for keeping him in the game? Yep. But he's. I'm going to give him some credit for learning from what happened last year. Say, look, I'm not going to stick around on this decision as long. I'm going to make the move that is the best decision for my team, and I'm going to make a change at quarterback. Okay. I'm going to give him some credit for that. But I think you're right too, Ryan, that he didn't have the same relationship with him, and Cooper's been on thin ice for quite some time, that he's just not there, and he clearly saw something different in McKay Hillstead.
Mm-hmm.
And we did note that we saw one time on special teams Levi Williams still was in there, but we wondered if he would play that tonight because he could have been the backup quarterback. If we would have needed somebody, he probably would have had to be the guy. You had some notes from the game. Do we have all the text then done now?
We had a few more come in, but let's get to this. There was a question earlier on in the show about when's the last time Utah State had 3 wide receivers go for more than 100 yards receiving and a running back go for more than 100 yards rushing. And you went back through the record books and found a game back in 1996 with 3 wide receivers that had more than 100 yards receiving. Well, Sports Information Director Doug Hoffman confirmed that, and he says that it was that game in 1996 against Cal State Northridge, which also had a game that had a 100-yard rusher in that same game. So that game in 1996, Cal State Northridge, mimicked like the game that we had tonight for Utah State.
We won that game 57-27. It was the second win of the year after we had beaten Utah the game before.
There you go.
So and then we also beat Utah the next year at home down in Salt Lake. That was a home game against Utah we beat, and then we beat Northridge. And then what happened was we lost 4 consecutive games before we won the last 4 and played Nevada for the championship and didn't win it. There at the end, we ended up tied for we didn't go to the bowl game that year, and then we got the bowl game with John L. Smith the next year. That's back to 96.
Let's see, 5464 texting in. Stephen K's dad posted this on USU Fans. And I'll just summarize here. It says, quick update on Steven. Right leg is broken, tibula and fibula. He's in the hospital for an overnight stay. He's in good spirits, thanks to medication.
And somebody else had kind of mentioned that earlier, that they'd heard that, too, about the tibia and the fibia.
Yeah, so they saw the game. They appreciate the people that have been sharing their support and knowing that he will get the best care. So, that's rough.
The Aggie team doctors will do a good job. I saw Dr. Higginbotham right next to him in that cart.
8577 texting in, Hillstead makes tons of mistakes as well. Why does everyone think Hillstead's the answer?
His game is just more suited to the offense that we run. He gets rid of the ball quicker. He makes quicker decisions. And that's what you have to do in this kind of offense. This RPO, quick hitting, screens, like you've got to make decisions really quickly, and the ball has to come out. And one of the things that what Cooper does do pretty well is he's throwing the ball vertical pretty well. Where he really struggles is that quick decision underneath game. It's not a strength of his. It never has been. I mean, the first pass he ever threw was a 70-yard touchdown in the bowl game, vertical, right? Tonight, the good throws that he made, for the most part, were vertical throws.
That throw to Micah Davis in the end zone, the shoulder deal.
It was amazing.
It was a great throw.
It was a fantastic throw, right? But in order to get this offense moving, in order to get our running game moving, I mean, these quick inside slant type stuff is an extension of our running game, really. And he just, for whatever reason, he hesitates a little bit. And so Hillstead, I think, is better suited for that. And he's a true freshman. Like you get away with stuff like that when you're a true freshman. When you're a fifth-year guy, you can't be making those same mistakes.
Yeah, that's a great point. Mistakes, not all mistakes are equal, but you have to consider how much time has one guy been at this level, studying film, practicing with guys at this speed and the strength. And you have to give a little bit of grace to a true freshman that's just figuring this out at this level for the first time.
But I will give props to Cooper Legault, because he's had 2 straight games in a row where he's broken his own individual records and had, at the end, has won 2 games for us during this period.
And what a luxury. What a luxury to have.
Absolutely.
Right? To have a guy with that much experience, that much of a gamer, competitor, and obviously he can put together some awesome quarters. There's no question. What a luxury to have. I'm excited that Coach Anderson's going to have to think about it this week. Now, I don't think he thinks very long if Hillstead's healthy, but I don't know if Hillstead's going to be healthy soon enough for a short week to get the reps. So even if he can go, if he can't practice till Wednesday or something, he probably goes with Cooper.
Yeah,
good and point. maybe Cooper Legault tonight just thought, okay, I'm coming into the game in the second quarter. Kind of like he does, we've talked about him being a guy off the bench, what he's done and things like that. All right. Anything else in the text line then?
Well, there was one text I missed from 8577 earlier. It says, does it seem like Coach Anderson doesn't like Cooper Legault?
No, I don't think that's the case.
He's been very complimentary of him, of his work ethic, of how he studies film, and he goes in there and he tries hard. But he is critical that, he's making mistakes. He's still making mistakes. And somebody that's been in the program this long shouldn't be making some of the mistakes that he continues to make.
But the coach also did, even Legault, when he was interviewed after the game tonight, he obviously is very, he knows what he's done, and then he knew what he did, and eventually it was really good stuff tonight in this game.
Yeah, he had a great... After he came out of it, he had a great game for Utah State.
And when a little bit, we handled the pressure just a little bit more once they got the ball off, and our receivers did get a lot of yards after catches, even on screen passes and things like that, which we've struggled with. And I wanted to ask Ryan, I think we're going to face a better defense in Fresno State next Friday night, and we'll face probably a better offense. I thought Colorado State's offense would be better than it was, and we're going to face a better offense in Fresno State probably too.
Yeah, I think we'll see the most balanced team that we've seen yet. I guess arguably Air Force, but their offense obviously isn't balanced. But I think across the board, pass run and a defense in Fresno, That's the best team we've played. So, I mean, we're trending in the right direction, right? 3/4 of the James Madison game, 3/4 of the UConn game, 3/4 tonight. Like, we're trending in the right direction, and that's exciting to see the potential that we have. Obviously, we can put up points. We've got guys, our running back core, we've got receivers that can catch the ball. Defensively, we've got some playmakers. So it's exciting to see what we can do when we put it together. And now it's good timing because we're going to play a good football team on Friday night.
Yeah, and I worry maybe a little that Fresno State feeling like they let one get away from them at Wyoming, and they're not going to want to lose 2 games in a row. But you know what? Whatever. I mean, it's a good team. It's a good football team, regardless of whatever their motivations might be. They're a good football team, and so this is an opportunity for Utah State to continue to build on their momentum. But they're going to have to play a lot cleaner football to get a win against Fresno State than what they have done their last 2 weeks.
And Fresno went into the year thinking they could be a conference championship team, so they've now lost a game and they can't lose another one, so they're going to be coming here. Joe's called before on the show. Joe, what's your comment tonight?
I like Legis better than Hairsted, and I think Blake Anderson should send some flowers to Legis.
Okay. If he sends him to Legis, he might not get him, but Cooper Legaw would. So I don't think Cooper wants flowers. I think he wants playing time and better playing time. And he's done a great job the last 2 games. All right. Anything else then from you guys?
No, I think we're good. Thank you, Joe.
We'll be back. And Joe, thank you for calling as usual. And again, we appreciate all the callers and texters as well as we get into it. So we need to do final stats. I'll let you guys leave, and then we'll see you next Friday night for that post game. Again, it'll be a 6 o'clock game next Friday night. Is it an FS1 or a CBS Sports Network? It is on CBS Sports Network at 6 o'clock next Friday night. So we'll be on with Game Day at 4. And I'll do final stats, but I'll let you go. So thank you very much to Ryan and to Eric and all of our Aggie fans who've been a part of it. Again, the final stats, the Aggies actually had 28 first downs. Colorado State had 20. 639, again, one of the top 10 by looking at my charts of the Aggie records, offensive games ever with 639. And again, that comes after that anemic first quarter. 320 for Colorado State, second best this year. One of the better defensive efforts for the Aggies to hold them to 26 of 57 passing. That's not been like them. The Aggies did a good job against their pass attack. 225 is all for them and 387 for us through the air. Again, Cooper with the big game. 252 rushing. Great stuff there. Colorado State had 5 turnovers. We had 4. And we had it for 32 minutes and 50 seconds. They only had it for 27 minutes, 10 seconds. We mentioned the running backs and the stats. We mentioned Cooper's stats. Tafisi had 9 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. Ike tonight, he may be a conference player of the week defensively. He was special teams player last week. 7 tackles, 5 solo tackles, 2 interceptions in helping the Aggies win this game. We'll have to see. Wyoming definitely did a great job defensively against against Fresno State tonight, so maybe they'll get somebody for that, and we'll see maybe one of our receivers, 2 touchdowns and 6 catches for Royals, 140 yards. He could be a candidate for Player of the Week as well. Our final stats is always brought to you by Cache Valley Bank. And we do appreciate all the game sponsors and all the listeners, and we'll get started again about 4 o'clock on Friday afternoon for that one coming up this next week for the Aggies and Fresno State. Incidentally, in the baseball playoffs today, Diamondbacks, Phillies, Astros, and Rangers all went up 1-0 in the divisional series in baseball. One of the best college games I've seen this year was Oklahoma beating Texas today in college football. Heck of a game. Is USC, where are they at now?
Tied, 28.
Tied with Arizona at 28 all?
Arizona just tied the game.
28 all. Arizona and the USC. That's would be a big shocker if that happens today. But number 3, Texas did go down to undefeated Oklahoma in that game today. All right, that'll do it for our game day coverage of the Aggies for all the sponsors and all. And now we will join the following program in progress, the Coast to Coast program overnight here on KVNU. See you again next Friday.
News and current events. News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.